Dear friends, we're going to continue working day and the topic of our next briefing, the elected Civil Oversight Council to the National Anti-Corruption Bureau. We have Oleksiy Grytsenkko, member of the NABU and the Civil Oversight Council, also Yevgen Chernyak and also the Transparency International Ukraine, the head of the electronic democracy situation, and Maselko, Automaidan lawyer. You have the floor. Also Yevgen Grushovets. Hello, dear friends. We'll try to briefly tell you what was the voting and why we are going to elect 5 more members of the Public Oversight, Civil Oversight Council. I have my colleagues here who are going to tackle Yevgen Chernyak, who is going to tell about the changes in the system of voting, and then the disciplinary commission of NABU will be dealt with by Maselko. Briefly, what we are doing in the Civil Oversight Council. This is a lengthy process to electing the chairman of the Anti-Corruption Bureau, 3 members of which side. And now, when we selected or elected 15 persons, 3 persons from each of the parties. Now we have only 10, and it's very important to re-elect or additionally elect the elect of the members, and that's why it's very important that we have now the contest, which has to be maximum objective, and we take a thorough pays our attention not to have any abuse relation during the election. Unfortunately, this kind of the investigation took more time than we planned. We had to publish the results of our voting, and then we had to pass this decision or additional action. Now I would like to ask you again to tell what happened and what decisions were passed. Good afternoon to everybody. Yevgen Chernyak, I'm Secretary of the Civil Oversight Council to the National Anti-Corruption Bureau. I'm also the Chief Analyst of the Transparency International Anti-Corruption Organization. A few words about the process and procedure. This is one of the first cases in the history of Ukraine when we really had voting using internet, mobile phones, email to the specific council, which is the Civil Oversight Council, which has to elect the detectives. We take part in the disciplinary commission of NABU and many other very important things. We can see that today the National Anti-Corruption Bureau, together with the Anti-Corruption Prosecutor Office, they are under big political and media pressure, and such a body as the Civil Oversight Council can be theoretically used, which will run counter to the activities of NABU to discredit this body. During the voting, there were effects of the artificial selection of the different votes to the Civil Oversight Council. We were preparing for that. Not all the system worked 100%. There were some kind of failures, but people spent some time in order to vote for us. And in addition to those, there were some people which were kind of adding votes. We can talk about that now because we actually ended all our internal procedures. They actually started from 400 to 1,800 additional votes. The biggest were about 2,100 votes, and out of that, 1,800 were kind of additionally introduced. I don't know. This means that people just do not have any kind of understanding what is honest integrity or objectivity means. We had to check this situation because we don't have sufficient resource. We have to check the mobile communication, technical communication, and to verify what computers were used for voting and when. In NABU, National Anti-Corruption Bureau, met us halfway. They are very much interested to have very integral and honest Civil Oversight Council. They analyzed what kind of mobile phones were used for voting, whether it was the mass scale purchase of the same type of one-time phone or electronic mail messages. So they involved huge material resources. A lot of money was involved here. Next question is why it was necessary to do, and why those people invested their money in this process. This question remains to be open. Mostly, we can say that they want to somehow to fight back at the anti-corruption activities, and actually we carried the investigation. When we had our first meeting, during the second meeting of the Civil Oversight Council, we discussed that issue. It was difficult to charge anybody or accuse anybody because they didn't have the bare facts which would corroborate the actions of this or another person. So we decided that it was important that the votes which this or another person got as a result of this kind of artificial adding the votes, if this person has to be excluded from the Civil Oversight Council. Some of the members who received a lot of votes, they volunteered to write the application to take back their application. We appreciate the efforts. Igor Bondarchuk, Grytsenkko, those were great decisions. Also, were members of the Oversight Council who took time to think about that. They also they submitted the application, but then those applications contained not the reason of their taking back of their votes, that not the number of votes, but for example, the Chernyak was one of the subject of criminal investigation on the initiative of Grytsenkko. I don't think this is a nice thing to do. Also, there was Dmitry Zolotykh who refused to write such a request, and during next meeting on 15th of this month, we decided, based on the, let's say, taking into consideration the internet voting results, and Dmitry Zolotykh did not appear during the two meetings of ours in a row, that we decided to exclude him as well. So we have some vacancies, 5 vacancies, and we hope that all the manipulations will end, and that all those dirty manipulations, I mean, in the because we believe that in the Civil Oversight Council should not be known for such cases. And then otherwise, why this kind of Civil Oversight Council when the people come to work in this council based on some manipulations or the dishonest methods? We have to, if we had such an approach during the elections to other anti-corruption bodies, we would not have such a situation. Now I would like to give the floor to Maselko, who will tell you his story. Good afternoon. Perhaps you know that last year, after the first attempt to take care of the internet voting for the Civil Oversight Council, was followed by a big scandal because of the additional dishonest number of the votes. Added to that, then we involved the public at large in our Electronic Democracy Association. We were involved in the development of an absolute new system which will make it possible for internet voting under the available conditions, and we do not have the electronic or digital passport so far, but this would make it possible to take care of the voting, which would deserve the trust of the people. And last year we did that. The major feature of that is the open protocol, and it's very important that the first experience of internet voting in Ukraine, immediately we had such a high ceiling if we're talking about confidence and trust. This protocol can be followed and traced for the whole day. And actually, if NABU would like to introduce some corrections. That protocol is impossible, and it's possible to be played with by those people who are dishonest. And actually, there was numerous attempts on the part of those people who would like to dishonestly add some votes, and in the end, we managed to reach the situation when those people were excluded from the council, Civil Oversight Council. So I would like to emphasize that despite the fact that we do not have some legal means of reliable verification with those methods of introduction of introducing the passport data, they are not well grounded. This system allows us to take care of the voting and to find out the violators, and maybe this is one of the, if not the only one, a system which allows us to reveal the violators from the legal point of view, but to do that in a very transparent way, and anybody can see that. After we accumulated this experience, we took that into consideration together with NABU. We decided to introduce some changes and amendments in the voting system. We managed to preserve the open protocol approach, but within a day it would be impossible to calculate or sum up the number of votes. In the end of the day, this information will become available, but not during the day per se. And then, because there was the fraudulent actions or fraud-related persons were using that opportunity. Now we introduce some amendments and changes which make it impossible. So once again, the most important things in this system, but that not only initiator can calculate or sum up the votes, but anybody. So I call upon everybody to analyze the possibility of anybody involved in some fraudulent voting. Only the active participation public at large, when dozens of thousands of people take part in voting, this makes it possible to talk about objective results. When dozens of thousands of people vote, this will actually reduce to zero the attempts of the fraudulent voting. So far, this is the only opportunity to officially vote for the official body. So please take this opportunity, come and vote yourself. And I take the floor to Maselko.
I will sum up. NABU is a new body that is created in accordance with the new rules, and attention is focused on it. And NABU entering the stage that it starts to show results and becomes the object for criticism and attention. And this Council has the responsibility to provide civil control and also the participation in the key contest and disciplinary commissions. And it was really important to show that this body was elected transparently, and there are no questions to those people who entered. So I am glad that such situation appeared, that revealed that first, there is an attempt to use this council, but also there is a mechanism and there is a will and opportunity of those people who are on this council to prevent those people who are not responsible. And also we were able to overcome the situation with dignity, and we provide the opportunity for 5 candidates who are really needed there, and also those people who want to use some dishonest technology, so they will be less opportunities for them because there is mechanism that will allow the council to clear itself. And we created a new standard others can adhere to, and we can develop it. And of course, there are many. This is a new body, and our council is also new. And we only start our development, but I believe that these standards that we undertook, they are really high. That's why I call on you to help us to get involved. Those forces who really want to launch this anti-corruption mechanism, please join us, and together we will fight corruption at the top level. Thank you. For those who apply to the council, I say what it is not. They do not have certificates. The members do not have identification documents that you can show that you are the member. They do not have access to NABU office, only to the meetings of the commission. So they go there through the lists of through special documents, and also one person who proposed to create offices of the council in the region to solve the issues of people. That was weird, because this council doesn't solve issues of citizens, and they cannot intervene in investigations of the detective. And what we do, we elect NABU members, so we also have the reports of Mr. Sitnik and communicate with him. Also, we try to support the image of NABU, that they should adhere to the rules. So we provide civil control, and also we communicate with the public. And these are the functions of the council. So if people share these ideas, please apply, and we will work with those people who will come to this council. Thank you. Thank you, Oleksiy. Thank you, colleagues. Do you have questions or comments, please? Introduce yourself first. Andrei Megal, the Committee of Appeal of the Regions. So about the online voting. So if people do not know about them, we may remember about Brexit. There is no always quality of this voting, and it shows that you appealed to public organizations. Maybe you took other steps because many organizations maybe didn't know people are qualified, but they do not have information about this, or they do not believe that these institutions do not work. So in Odessa, there will be an event where the Alla Yurchenko organized the activities, and they will explain what is NABU and what is the council. And there will be a representative in the region, and they will hold some events in order to involve the public, and NABU also will provide some recommendations, and NABU always communicate with the public, and we through Facebook, through our personal pages, and through Facebook, the Council for the Public. We do not have a separate site, but all active NGOs are represented on Facebook. And it is impossible not to know about this. Maybe about electronic voting. There is no panacea or unique way to support the interests of all, but internet voting is now the most objective, and there is no other way to involve the public. And there is competition commission sometimes, and we have a sad experience of electing these councils at the ministries. There was imitation, not real work. That's why we understand some drawbacks, but we try to do everything possible. And this conference is to provide the right information, and we would like to involve more people, the public, and the public should search for information. If they want to deal with it, they should know about it. Thank you. I would comment, so this question is really important. People who are nominated, there are several categories. Those who are known, these are NGOs, and also people with different purposes, and there are people who do a lot of good things, but they are not known due to some reasons. And before voting, there is a survey on these candidates and recommendations from the organization who support these candidates, and the last voting was the meeting of people who knew for whom they vote and those who voted for boards. So this was some sort of confrontation. This time I hope we won't have this. And imagine, for example, 4 years ago at General Prosecutor's Office, the council that elects prosecutors and disciplinary commissions, this is a great opportunity for the public to take part in these processes. So people should come, they should use this opportunity. Thank you. Do you have other questions or comments? If there are no, so this is the end of press conference. Thank you, dear friends. Until the next time, goodbye, dear colleagues. Our next event is at 12:30.